The greatest, one of the biggest democracies in the world that has got, you know, human rights are pretty good, and you know, just generally they try and make themselves out to be better than Pakistan in that area. But in reality, the way things are going, they're just as bad, because I'm going to say Pakistan's bad as well.
When you were going back and forth about Pakistan, one of the main things that you was bringing up was, oh, I think 50 to 60 people had died in a certain amount of years over blasphemy laws. And now you've done your research and you found out what?
So that 52 Muslims were killed for eating beef.
Apologise, Raj.
So I'm not apologising for nothing, you're mad.
But you've seen the error of your ways now.
How... It's not about errors of my way. If I don't know what's going on and I'm being told, I've got to look for myself. And so, you know, this is still religious fundamentalism in the sense that someone got killed in Pakistan for saying something, and some people got killed in India for eating beef, which is part of their faith that they can't eat beef. And just to clarify, Sikhs are not Hindus. We don't care if you eat beef.
And these are just the ones that I reported. We don't know how many are not reported, that go undetected.
I
mean, there was another story I was talking about on my channel yesterday. Bro, filthy. Listen to this, right? A 12-year-old girl in India, right? She was raped by her 2 brothers and her uncle. After they raped her, and then they killed her and beheaded her with a sickle. You know what a sickle is, right? They beheaded her with a sickle, bro. This is in India.
Can I just do a preface to this?
300 and something thousand rape cases reported in 2016.
All right, so let me just preface this, because I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, and this is not towards the Hindu people. There's a billion Hindus, majority of them are very peaceful.
Yeah, even we'll say
but there is this minority within there that is growing within India of the RSS and the BJP. The BJP is a political party, but the RSS is like a kind of an offshoot.
Could you call them extremists?
Yeah, they are extremists.
They're extremists.
So they're
willing to use violence.
Yeah, I mean, it's not willing; they are using violence. So a lot of these attacks on the Sikhs is actually stemming from Modi. I mean, the the Gujarat riots that killed a lot of Muslims. That was it was a political thing from Modi.
Modi was the organizer of that. He was the organizer of the orchestrator.
So
he was denied visa into America for that same reason, and the CIA cited that reason and said that you're a terrorist because of your actions. But now he's a prime minister, nobody can stop him from coming to the country.
What the thing is, I mean, obviously, when for me, the final straw, although there was a lot of final straws, I'm probably a bit too lenient with that country, but the final straw was when 3 Sikhs have been imprisoned for life for having literature, videos, and thoughts that they deemed to be unacceptable. So, you know, they're now in prison for that, for life, not for a year, not for 2 years. They didn't express
literature.
They had
about
videos
Khalistan.
About a separate state called Khalistan
in India.
In India.
How do people know they had videos?
And they're
because they obviously raided their house.
Now they're in prison for life.
So,
look, possessing this.
I want to say to people, this is not about. Can I just say, this is not about Khalistan. A lot of Sikhs don't agree with Khalistan. It's a very divisive subject, even in my own family. But one thing this is about human rights. Whether you agree with Khalistan or you don't, or you agree with Kashmir or you don't, the fact is people are being put into prison for life for thoughts. And there's another individual called Juggi, who's a UK citizen that has been in prison for not 100 days, 500 days.
No charge.
No charge at the moment. So 500 days.
Remand with no charge.
And he's a British citizen as well. From the thing they're saying that he's linked to a murder or an assassination.
So isn't the British consulate doing anything to?
Well, they don't want to ruin relations in India because they've got this kind of like.
Especially after Brexit, that's one of the main trading partners.
So what it is that India is using its kind of economic power to kind of like, you know, a bit like Saudi Arabia does as well. Like, because people need the oil, they can get away with a lot of stuff. So India is kind of moving down that tradition of suppressing its minorities, and it's growing. I mean, for yourself here, what's your kind of understanding? Because I want to understand the Kashmiri separatist movement. And let me just say something, I do not agree with any terrorism or any killing of people, because just the Indian conflict started, the one that just happened was because 40 soldiers were blown up in a convoy by Kashmiri separatists.
But this is what you've read of media, this is what they've shown that this has happened, right? I mean, there's kids in Kashmir and Align that are being blinded by pellet guns every day, right? There's women that are being raped every day by the Indian army in Kashmir. So earlier on when you was asking what's the similarities and what's the reasons for them, I think the similarities are none when it comes to the actual experience on the ground at the moment. Because if you look at Sikhs, the Sikhs are in the army, they're all up in the MPs and all that kind of stuff in India, right? But the Kashmiris are not. You understand? Especially the Muslim Kashmiris are not. So they're suffering, they're dying, they're being oppressed here, and is there kind of an apartheid state? I would say Jammu and Kashmir.
It's got about 500,000.
Can you give a history? Can you give a brief history of what's happening?
I mean, you said it's 500,000 soldiers in Jammu and Kashmir. I think it's one of the most
militarized
zones in the world.
I think it's up there on the level with the DMZ, which is the border between North Korea and South Korea.
Okay.
And that's pretty militarized, I think when we start any discussion, we have to preface it with the importance of being academic, honest, and clear in our approach and our methodology. We don't want to be using one set of standards for one group or government or people and not be using the same for the other. Let's assess each idea, government, or ideology on its own merit and recognize it for what it's up. In discussions about South Asia, a lot of these wounds are still open.
They're fresh,
and a lot of people still feel this pain. The generations above me and above yourselves have directly been victims and affected of some of the violence and bigotry and xenophobia that is not just taken place, but is taking place.
Definitely.
So I suppose if we start with just the Narendra Modi, because he's often put as the poster boy for evil in in India at the moment. A lot of his detractors, perceive him as a Hindu nationalist, and so on and so forth.
Perceive or he is?
Well, his detractors call him a Hindu nationalist. He probably would just see himself as India-centric.
But I'm saying you, as somebody looking on the outside, what would you say?
I think there's many problematic aspects about Narendra Modi, but we have to recognize when we talk about Narendra Modi, first of all, why has he got still quite a bit of support? So
even from Sikhs.
Even from
what's
Sikhs.
quite strange is that there are Sikhs in the
left him, though.
there are Sikhs.
Sidhu,
There are Sikhs in the BJP,
Yes.
and that is, to me, to be honest with you, if any Sikh brothers are about, I would love to understand how somebody can be in the BJP and be Sikh. It doesn't
You
make
go
sense.
look in the fucking mirror and beat yourself up if you're a Sikh.
No, but
and
what I read
you're
about the
in
Hindu
BJP.
Sabha is that they classify everybody who's from the kind of Dharmic faiths and even the Islamic faiths as they're very pro-nationalist.
So come to Kashmir a bit, because
Yeah.
you're the,
Yeah, if you
you're
go
the
to
guy
Kashmir.
on Kashmir for us, and let us know a bit of the separatist movement.
Yeah.
And does it want a separate state from Pakistan and India, or do you want to be part of Pakistan, or what is it?
I mean, when we talk about Kashmir, we don't want to elongate every argument and go into the last 2,000, 3,000 years of history.
Yeah, of course not.
But if we can just try and pinpoint what happened with Kashmir that makes it such a sore thumb for India and Pakistan relationships, we have to do a little bit of soul searching and look back just in the last 70 to 80 years. A lot of the British Raj comprised of what was called princely kingdoms. These were sovereigns or kings who had their own autonomous rules, bureaucracies, legislations. Kashmir was one of them, Hyderabad, Lucknow, Oud, Bihar, Bahawalpur.
Yeah,
These
so
places
just
were
to
quite-
clarify, a lot of people have this concept of this India, but in reality, like you said, there's a lot of principalities and
Yeah, it was
different
empires,
kingdoms.
different states.
So
Yeah.
it was basically, you could also classify it almost like
But it's a
lots of, a
subcontinent,
bit like
isn't it?
Europe, like loads
Right,
of
it's a
different countries
subcontinent.
within there.
It's a massive land. It's
Yeah.
a subcontinent.
Or as Winston Churchill said, India is a continent masquerading as a country.
Yeah.
Just the level of diversity that it has, or the subcontinent, the amount of variations in belief, language,
Languages,
culture,
yeah, I mean.
and geography makes it very, very cumbersome to just look at a single identity. A lot of people don't know this, but Bengal was partitioned before the British Raj was partitioned. It was considered too unwieldy as a state to manage, because I think there was the Bombay Presidency and Punjab and the princely kingdoms and Hyderabad and so on and so forth. And Bengal was so big and had so many people in it, they couldn't administrate it, in and of itself, and they had to partition into smaller parts. But putting that to one side, even the geographical aspect of the subcontinent, people don't realize that the Indus Valley River, that region, and the Gangetic Plain, and the mountains across central India and Maharashtra.
This is when I need my globe.
These are
Invasions all the time.
these are natural borders. Some of these places have had distinct identities that is separate from other parts of,
Yeah, the
of the
Himalayas
country.
is a big border. Yeah, it's a
You have
definitely a big border, bro.
Sino-Tibetan languages, you have Dravidian languages like Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam, and Tamil, and you have Bengal, and so on and so forth. And so when we look at Kashmir, what will it's a hard point to raise, but we have to recognize that partition has happened, it was a reality, and there's no, looking back or turning away from the fact that there was a separation of a large amount of people on the basis of which religion are they would go to this country or the other country. What was the fundamental basis for people separating from one side of the border to the other? It was as simple as this: Muslim majority areas conceded to Pakistan and Hindu majority areas conceded to India. Those countries that had heartlands that were surrounded by territory of the opposite religion were just assimilated wholesale.
A bit like, I mean, Punjab, obviously.
Yeah. So Punjab was
is one of the areas.
the sticking point where it's about 70-60% Muslim, 30% Hindu, and about 20% Sikh. So naturally, that was where a lot of the violence originated. Now, what makes Kashmir a little bit different? Kashmir was a case where we had the majority of the population being Muslim, whereas the ruler was Maharaja Hari Singh. He was Hindu.
No, Hindu.
He was Hindu.
Singh is also a Hindu
name as well. So you know how you have Singapore, right? Singapore is the lion city. You know how you have Singapore.
Yeah, Singh, yeah.
Yeah, but we Singh is middle name, and then we have the.
But the Singh means lion.
Yeah, but the Hindu one is slightly different. From
I think it was with the 8th or
so
4th Guru. Yeah.
That's side point. So it's 80-90% Muslim.
It was majority.
The people wanted to cede with Pakistan.
So what happened is that Maharaja Hari Singh initially he wanted to stay independent.
Yeah.
He wanted his state to retain its independence. The majority of the Muslims at that point in time, they were split across different parts of the valley. We had Gilgit-Baltistan, we had the Gilgit Scouts, and we had the tribal Pathan people as well. And a lot of these people, they considered these borders permeable, which means just because you were in one part of the land doesn't mean a country halfway around the globe which said this part is different from that part, they treat it any differently. They saw it as, you can move from there to there, it's our land nonetheless.
So they've been doing that for thousands of years.
So what happened is the Gilgit Scouts basically walked into Kashmir and they supported some of the local agitations against Maharaja Hari Singh's signing the instrument of accession towards India.
Yes.
Right,
and what's the time frame for this?
46 or 47, I think.
46.
Or it might have been 48. I think
after independence, because independence was at 47.
It was